Hi everybody, it's Mairi. This is going to be your cosmic update for Scorpio season 2020. If you're interested in more of the cosmic updates, be sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can find me on social media at mmhealingservices in your search bar. You can also connect with me and support me on my Patreon, Mairi Moibiel Healing Services. I would be honored to connect with you further. I appreciate any support that I receive so that I can continue to help my communities thrive and heal as a collective. So as we get started talking about Scorpio season, we're going to go through what to expect, what is being held in Scorpio season, what's going to come to completion, and more. So be sure to check out in the description, and I will try to highlight the times so that you can skip through to what resonates most for you if you're on a time crunch. So let's just go ahead and get started with Scorpio season. Scorpio season is October 22nd through November 21st, and Scorpio comes off of Libra season. Libra is a very outward relationship sign. It is very harmonious and very beautiful, and it moves into Scorpio, which is what we refer to as a fixed sign. And fixed signs often are the signs where we embody what we have kind of jumped into in the previous season. So Libra is a cardinal sign. So they catapulted us into whatever it is happening in your specific life. And Scorpio season is here to kind of take what Libra gave us and really kind of embody it or bring it to life or make it actionable. Scorpio is also a very deep, intense sign. It's a water sign, so it's intuitive, it's emotional, very, very intense and deep, not afraid to be intense, not afraid to get into the deep things that other energies often are almost intimidated by, those deep, dark, shadowy spaces. And Scorpio thrives in going into those spaces and being able to bring them out and transform. And that is Scorpio season energy. Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto, and so Pluto is our death, our destruction, our deep transformation, our shadowy shadows, and so again, that death and decay, deconstruction in order to have rebirth, right? So that is this energy. It is a yin in the yin yang, so it is an internalized energy. So whereas Libra season, we were all about the collective, reaching out to others, making connections, having relationships, Scorpio season is much more internalized. It's much more taking that knowledge, bringing it in, reviewing it by myself to kind of transform and then bring back to the world externally later. But Scorpio season is much more internalized. So all of that deep, intense emotion is going to be quiet to the outside because a lot of it is internal. Scorpio is I create. So Scorpio has the ability to take all of this information and kind of put it into something that's works. They have a great ability of finding information and really analyzing it and go through it and building this space, taking what maybe Virgo had started with this plan, and then Libra said, oh, I love all of this, let's throw all of this in too. And now Scorpio is going to take all of that and analyze it and reprocess it and then create something from that. So that is that I create, the great transformer that is Scorpio. So that's like the main themes of like Scorpio season and what comes in with that. The big thing here is the death and decay of this season. So it holds Halloween, right? And Halloween is known as the thinning of the veil, when entities and energies are most able to cross into this realm to communicate. And there's a lot of that energy happening already, and so that will continue as we move through. But that death feeling is continued throughout Scorpio. And Scorpio isn't afraid of death. Death isn't seen as a negative or scary thing here in this energy. It is invited. Scorpio energy knows that in order to birth something new and extravagant, sometimes things have to die, and that is a natural process, one of the most natural or the most natural cycles that we see, right? It's the cycle of life. And that death piece of it is very critical, and Scorpio knows that. So as we're in Scorpio season, it's going to be asking us to release, to let go of things that no longer serve us, so that we can make the space to create and rebirth the new based on all of the things we've been learning and getting and acquiring over the last years, etc. So again, very intense energy, Scorpio. Scorpio holds intimacy, it holds death, it holds disease, it holds taxes, it holds sex, it holds all of the like occult things are held there. Anything taboo is held with Scorpio season. So, again, the ability to transform and recognize. Scorpio doesn't see those things that I labeled as taboo. Like they don't see that as a negative aspect. And Scorpio asks us to broaden our view of things and allow the darkness to not be shunned completely, if you will. So it asks for the darkness to be seen a bit. It is also very aware. Scorpio is very aware and very passionate and very determined. So those are also things that you feel with that Scorpio energy. I had said before, Scorpio is not afraid to go deep, and that is going to be something that as you continue through this season, as we're releasing, and I talk a lot about releasing in the other cosmic updates that came out. So if you haven't checked those out, be sure to get onto my YouTube or my Facebook page, Mairi Healing Services, and you can find all the cosmic updates where I talk about it. But the full moon in Taurus that's coming up, that video we talk about the releasing and how there's just so much of it needing to be done. And that's because we're being asked to go deeper than a lot of people are comfortable with. And so they shut off, they cap it off, right? They don't want to go any deeper. And Scorpio season will urge you to go deeper into those shadows, to pull up the things that need to be healed and released in order to have the space to evolve. Scorpio season is about shedding our skin to come into this new part of ourselves, of our lives, of our journey, of our soul's purpose. And that is all a reoccurring theme as we go through Scorpio season. We've already been going through a ton of massive changes. Scorpio season is going to uncover some truths and lies that have maybe been pushed down collectively and in our personal lives. That is a very common thing that happens during Scorpio seasons. Secrets are brought to life and intensity is enhanced. So on top of the things we've already been changing, right, there are endings coming to some of these cycles. So the first thing that's going to be like an ending kind of is the Taurus full moon that happens at the end of October 31st, on Halloween, on Samhain, on the Day of the Dead, when the veil is thin. So connecting to those that have already proven this life cycle of death, connecting to them here during this energy could be very powerful for your spiritual evolution, for your emotional evolution. Connecting to the grief, sitting with the pain of sadness and darkness and grief during Scorpio season is like, it's like the hit. So if you're comfortable, connect to those that have passed on. If If you're not comfortable, but you want to get comfortable, reach out to me. I will do my best to help you. Check out YouTube. There's a ton of different things you can learn on there for free. I'll help you as much as I can for free, or you're welcome to set up a session you can book it directly on my Facebook. But this is always a great time to connect to that, to be able to recognize that when things die on the earth, right, they are brought back into the cycle, right? It's not like it just goes away. It's into a new cycle. And so learning that life cycle and learning that when something dies, it doesn't vanish, right, is an important key. And it could be great for your spiritual journey if that's where you are. If it's not, fine, throw all that stuff out that I just talked about, no big deal. But this could be a good time for that. The energy would support you in it. But finding completion in the cycles that have been ending. So first we have the full moon in Taurus, which I'm not going to get into because there's a cosmic update all on that. But another connection to death and rebirth in that cycle. And then we have Mercury and Mars will both go direct during Scorpio season. So that's an ending of a cycle. Those are ending of cycles. So when we end cycles, we are releasing things that we have come out of the cycle and said, I don't need this anymore. This no longer serves a purpose. I learned the lesson from that. And that can be anything. It can be a relationship. It can be a business endeavor. It can be the place you live. It can be a plan that you thought was a great idea. And now, you've gotten into it and you've realized this isn't what I want to do anymore. Scorpio season is asking us not to cling on to things just because that's what we thought we wanted, or just because that's what used to serve us. We change, we evolve, and things in our life are meant to go in that cycle as well of it's here, it serves its purpose, and when it no longer serves its purpose, then it's time for us to release it gracefully when we can. But when we hold on to things and latch onto things, Scorpio season is going to try and force us to release these things. So surrendering to that, being aware of that, being open to that, is the way to go about that with the most grace in my experience. Everyone's experience is different, but that would be my invitation to you around that. So Mercury going direct will end a cycle. It's going to end a couple different cycles, as most do, but this one specifically will happen on election day. So there's a cosmic update, Mercury mayhem in the election in the United States, and it's going to talk more about that kind of cycle, but we're ending that. So that's a cycle of something that's going to need to be released, dead, death, deconstruct, and then rebirth into something new. And Mars goes direct as well during Scorpio season. That is on the 13th of November, which just so happens to be Friday the 13th. So big dates, big important dates happening here through Scorpio season. And again, endings of a cycle. So Mars retrograde is ending multiple cycles. But the two that I want to talk about are ones that started a couple months ago. So when Mars went into retrograde, which was September 9th or 13th, something like that. So middle of September, Mars went into retrograde. That's one cycle that we're going to come out of when Mars goes direct or starts to go direct. The other one is from June, July of 2018. That's another cycle that is going to come to an ending during Scorpio season. So something else that is going to be said, okay, these things no longer serve us. We've learned from this cycle's over. Let's release it and make space for more to come in. So there's a lot happening, and I don't expect for every person to know what all of those things meant. If you have specific questions about how these will interact in your life, or if you have a question about something I said and I didn't go into it enough, or you want to know more about it, or I went too fast, or I breezed over something that piqued your interest, please make sure that you comment, send me a message, reach out to me so that I know what I can help you with, know what you want to learn, know what you take from these videos, because at the end of the day, they're here to help us be more aware of what's happening around us so that we can utilize it in a way that best serves our purpose and allows us to kind of go with the flow through life, opposed to coming up and slamming it head on and not having any idea where this energy or emotion is coming from. So, that being said, Scorpio season, we shed the skin that no longer serves us. So getting rid of the things that don't resonate with your soul anymore. And moving forward, and we're going to start to see that as things come out of retrograde. Mars and Mercury will be out of retrograde, and that will only leave Uranus and Neptune in retrograde. And those retrogrades are much more distant than what we're feeling right now with the Mercury and the Mars, and what we have felt with the Capricorn Council through 2020. So the energy is beginning to loosen as we get to the end of Scorpio season, but it won't start really loosening until more into November, and especially into December, as the Capricorn Council starts to move out into the Aquarian sign and start that big shift into the energy of the Aquarian age that we will feel moving forward. But Mars is still going to be super hot when it comes out of its retrograde on Friday the 13th. So although there will be a bit of clearing and a bit of understanding, oh, this is what all this was for, it's going to be slow. So all of the stuff we've been feeling will continue to be feeling for a couple of weeks. And so these videos are really here for a lot of people for validation. Like, you really are feeling that way, and it's not just because of X, Y, and Z. Of course it is to do with that, but there are also so many other things that play into what's happening every second of your day, internally, externally, and everywhere in between. So I did want to touch on a few things to be careful or be aware of during Scorpio season. The goal is to go deep, to transform and release during this season, allow things to die that need to die, ideas, relationships, social constructs, foundations, etc. Sorry about my dogs if you hear them. But that energy is being asked to be released, among many other things. But be aware of some of the shadow pieces that can come with Scorpio. Being guarded, being defensive, spilling the tea, right? Gossiping too much. Scorpios, gossiping too much. That energy could be present. Really vivid dreamings, trouble sleeping. I talked about real deep, intense emotions. So try not to get super swallowed in those emotions. Be sure that you set up a support plan, if you will, of people that will be available to assist you and love you and support you as you go through this, because it is hard. And again, reach out to me if you need a space. Be cautious of overthinking and internalizing everything. That is a very, Scorpios have a tendency to be very analytical and detailed. They'll go down a rabbit hole and go, which can be a great thing. It can also cause us a little bit of chaos and draining our energy pretty severely. So just be aware of that. And then obviously the tendency to lash out and be that Scorpio stinger coming at you. So those are the things to kind of be aware of. But overall, this energy is hard. That's nothing new for 2020. But with this energy comes so much space to evolve and grow and learn and come into this new step in your life as an individual and collectively. So again, thank you so much for being here. That's the gist of Scorpio season energy. If you have any questions or specifics, please reach out to me at any time. I would love to have your support on any of my platforms, especially financially on my Patreon at Mairi, mmhealingservices, where I ask that you support me so that I can continue to support my community in their healing and the healing of the collective. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you have a great Scorpio season, and we will talk soon.